Let's do it.
All right, Sunny Days Media Show. We are live. Sunny Days Media Football Show. Whoops, getting everything mixed up. My head's in a million places right now. I believe we're at halftime. Jets Vikings in London. The Jets are down 17-7. So at least you put something on the board before the half there. Rough start for Rodgers and the boys.
It's not looking good, but it's also looking good. It's just, you know how it is, man. You get down like that, now you got to play perfect for the next 2 quarters to win. And can they? I don't know. But look, I mean, they had a very, very bad draft this year. Horrible draft.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree. You wanted Bowers. I get that. Olu Fashanu is a fine tackle. He's going to be a great tackle for you guys for a long time. You could argue that you should have gotten Bowers over Fashanu. That's a fair argument, but you didn't end up with a bust. You didn't end up with a disaster. You know, you got yourself a great left tackle, and you're bound
You
to.
think so?
You're bound to miss. You're bound to miss Tyron Smith for an extended period of time this year. He's not even playing in this game, is he?
Olu Fashanu was the worst tackle last week. This week he's having an okay game. But he can't run block, and when you can't run the ball, you can't do anything. So the picture
up against a great
look. All I know is we talk about the draft, and then you come back and you see what Fuaga was a better player, Bowers was a better player, Brian Thomas was a better player, and you took this guy. Now he's got to play, and he can't run block. He's not strong enough, and he's okay at pass blocking. So you basically added a backup. You could have got the same. You could have got the same outcome performance from Max Mitchell. So it's horrible.
It's very early. I mean,
third round.
By
they
that
didn't have
rationale,
a second round pick.
By that rationale, the Bears totally fucked themselves with Caleb Williams because Caleb hasn't looked good.
But they're not in win now mode, man. This team is a disaster, and you could have traded back. The Rams wanted to trade back to 19. You could have got Brian Thomas. You could have got a second-round pick, a third-round pick, and still picked Corley. You could have got a guard, a tackle, Brian Thomas, and the guy that's not going to play. But instead, they're getting nothing from their draft, as they always do. They get nothing from their draft, and they're not good, man. They're not a very good team. Hopefully, they could win today, but they're just not a very good team, and they're showing that today in front of everybody for the second week in a row. They're not very good. What are you going to do? They got to get a new fucking play caller.
What's your opinion of the Vikings?
The Vikings are an all right team with great coaching, like the Steelers. They're the Steelers now. They're like the new age Steelers. They'll be good. They'll always be good. They'll always win 8 games minimum, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it. Whether they're great, they'll win 11-12. When they're not that great, they'll win 8-10. That's just who they are, and it sucks that you're in the division with them. But, I mean, if Flores goes next year to go become a head coach, which he probably will, then they're going to have to find a new DC. But O'Connell is really, really good, man.
He knows how to run an offense. He really does. He really does. He knows how to make, as Jerry says, chicken salad out of chicken shit.
100%. Yep. Same thing with Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, what are you going to do? You're going to win a minimum of 8 or 9 games with a bad team with that guy. So, but the Jets, they have Nate Hackett. So a great team is an 8-win team. And this is where you run into the issues of needing to be able to run block. When you don't have an offensive coordinator, you need to be able to run block so that you can at least get out ahead and move the chains and not just go 3 and out, consistently.
This is the danger of bringing in, a 40-something-year-old quarterback that dictates everything he wants, and the franchise just complies with it.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the facts. Like, Nathaniel Hackett's not a good coach, not at all. And I feel like if I were Jets ownership and I'm sitting down with Rodgers and trying to work out that trade, I'm sitting here and I'm saying, Zach is in the chat here. Oh, Zach is in the chat. Whoops. Sorry about that. Hold on here, Zach.
I don't know if you can hear me. All good.
Yeah. No. Give me 2 seconds here.
I texted you, didn't go through.
No. I just added this one. And let me put a third. He's there, boys. As I was saying, I think that was probably something that they should have sat down and talked about, right? And they should have said, we want you, and we know that you like Hackett, but that we're going to need you to somebody else because we don't believe in Hackett and blah blah blah. That's where I would attack this. And I mean, I don't know. Nobody knows what was going on in those conversations, and it's hard. It happened already. Like, this is what you're stuck with, and until something's got to give, and we'll know that in the coming weeks. Like, if they lose this game, how much longer does Salah? Like, who's gone first, Hackett or Salah? Are they just gone together?
Yeah, I think they're
your
gone.
Defensive coordinator
together.
I think they're gone together.
Hackett stays.
Woody
this
Johnson.
Year.
Thing is, Woody Johnson doesn't fire in the middle of the season, so I think regardless of how the performance ends up, you're probably going to have both throughout the season. And also, I don't know if you guys have touched on this point. I think it's a certain point. Some of these players need to step up and actually start, showing growth. Like Garrett Wilson, he's missing reads on defense. Reading defenses on these receptions. Like Aaron Rodgers earlier in the first quarter threw a nice back shoulder ball, but Garrett Wilson couldn't slow himself down. Just kind of ran right into the defender. He needs to make that adjustment and be able to stop on a dime, turn and catch. Instead, he's running right through, keep continuing the route and running through the defender. Breece Hall, I mean, I guess it's partly on the offensive line, but I mean, one really bad game last week and this first half of another bad one this week. So it's like, you need him to be what he was his rookie year and last year. So.
Jared Allen looks fantastic for a guy that retired a few years ago.
I would fire if they lose this game and lose to the Bills. I think Salah's gone. The problem is
he's not going to be gone after this game.
You have to if they lose this game and the Bills, Salah's gone. Who replaces him? Because you can't replace him with Hackett and you can't replace him with Ulbrich. I wouldn't. I don't think Ulbrich's good enough. I'd probably go Ron Middleton, the tight ends coach. But then what?
The Colts did and hire Nick Mangold, hire next center.
I don't think
they need
would do that.
A fucking real play caller.
No,
if they need any changes made, they need to also demote Hackett. I wouldn't fire Hackett. I think he's a good guy to have.
Quarterback coach, maybe.
Just quality control. He's just a good guy to have, in practice and stuff. But obviously, if you can't call the plays, you can't. Can't be the OC.
They haven't had someone that can call plays and run a team as a whole since Rex Ryan. And Rex Ryan didn't know how to run the offense, but he damn knew how to draw up some good defensive schemes and really take over a game with that defense. So you guys just need to find someone that can do it. And I think regardless of how the season ends, you just can't look at Salah being the guy because I don't think he's ever shown it. And I think the only way if you guys win this year and are able to make it to the playoffs and do whatever, I think that'll be on the players' backs, not on his.
Yeah. I don't know if we're making the playoffs this year. That's the problem.
Football's a wacky sport. Things happen, and there's not really much. It's the division leaders, the division leaders, and then
I don't think anyone AFC or NFC looks like a world beater. The Vikings by record are the best team in football, but I don't think if you watch them, you see the best team in football. I
think the Bills may have looked the best.
The Bills, but
they got beat up by the Ravens.
The Bills also come out and trip over their fucking feet. I don't know. The Buccaneers look good, then they lost to the Falcons. The Falcons are kind of ascending. The Seahawks look good, then they lost to the Lions. The Cowboys. They don't look.
You don't believe in anyone in the NFC.
I don't believe in the Eagles. No, I believe in the Commanders. I think the Commanders will win that division. I think the Commanders are absolutely good enough to win the NFC East.
I don't think they'll go far in the playoffs, though. I don't think they have enough talent around Jaden Daniels, and I don't think he has the experience to do it.
If you have to host a playoff game against, let's say, the Seahawks, although the Seahawks might win the West. I don't know if you have to host a playoff game against the Buccaneers. There's a path for the Commanders to kind of do did 2 seasons ago, and the Giants were on the road, but there's a path for the to beat like a lower level wild card team.
That's true.
make it to the divisional round. I don't know, but like I'm saying, like, you know, I think the AFC looks better than the NFC, and even the AFC. Like outside of the Chiefs, who are kind of winning because of the refs. Like, let's be honest here, the Chiefs haven't looked very good. They've gotten a healthy amount of calls their way. You know, the Bills, the Steelers are 3-1, but they don't look very good.
The Steelers are fake 3-1.
Justin Fields is like it's all Mike Tomlin right now. Like eventually, you know, someone's going to stop Justin
and
Fields.
That defense, yeah.
Right. That defense is good. The Texans have shown that they're very human. You know, the Ravens should be the best team in the AFC, but
they look good the last 2 weeks.
Twice. I don't think they look good in the Cowboys game. To almost give that game back to the Cowboys, I don't think that's
they sat out the last quarter.
I think that's more on John Harbaugh though. That's not on the players. I mean, I think that's on John Harbaugh really just taking his foot off the gas. Like there, you got to keep your foot on the gas through the third quarter. Like if you want to start slowing things down in the fourth, that's fine. But he let his foot off the gas once that got to half, and that was the problem. That was all on John Harbaugh, not the players.
Two teams I'm looking at in the AFC that I think are going to be really dangerous, like come November, December, are right now they're on the outside looking in. The Chargers and the Broncos. The Chargers have the quarterback. Although Herbert's got his injury issues, if Herbert could stay upright, and they have a great coach, and Harbaugh is doing what he did at Michigan, and I think he's got a better quarterback here than he did at Michigan, obviously, but he's playing ground and pound offense. He's playing solid defense. He's doing just enough on defense to win these games.
Yeah.
And the Denver Broncos, man, like, is Bo Nix a good quarterback? No. Is he going to be a good quarterback, in 5 years?
Maybe.
Probably not. I don't think so. But, like, Sean Payton's a really good head coach. Like, Jet fans were talking to me about that loss last week and how embarrassing it was. And, okay, it was a little embarrassing. And I agree. Like, Greg Zuerlein missing that kick and Rodgers not looking good and the O-line not looking good. Fine. But don't talk about Denver like they're a bunch of scrubs. That is a hell of a defense Sean Payton's got in Denver. That's a better defense that he's had probably than like 3/4 of his time in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
You give Sean Payton a legitimate pass rushing defense that actually has some players in the defensive backfield. Yeah. And Sean Payton could do some damage. This is a Broncos team that will definitely – they're not going to win the West because they're in the same division as the Chiefs. But I could see them winning 10 games and being a wild card team.
Yeah, and you got maybe the best cornerback in the NFL, and it's Patrick Surtain, too.
Yeah.
Here's a question for the Jets. Are the Jets going to trade for Davante Adams sooner rather than later?
They have to trade for him tomorrow.
Do they actually do this?
They have to.
They have to, but
but they just turned what they could have maybe got. No. I think what they did, if they continue to play like this today and they end up losing this game, I think they just turned maybe trading for him with a 3rd-round pick into definitely a 2nd-round pick and maybe more, because everything's going to be in favor of the Raiders. They're going to be the ones in the driver's seat if the Jets look as bad as they have today.
I'm banking on the
calling,
Jets.
Not the begging for them.
I'm banking on the Jets making that trade sooner rather than later because I have my eyes on Max Crosby. That would make my life as a Lions fan a lot better. And I think if the Raiders trade away Adams, I mean, listen, if they're sitting him anyway, it doesn't make a difference. Like, just trade him at this point. Like, you're just wasting time here. But if they kind of commit to a full rebuild, I would be more than willing to send a first and a 4th or something to get Max Crosby.
It's just tough because Max Crosby is just part of it. He's part of the rebuild. He's part of the plan. He's part of everything. And getting rid of him it's one of those trades where it's more of a death sentence than acquiring picks. Like, when you trade players of that caliber, like, it's very, very difficult for the player to actually wind up making.
But I also think you have to be yourselves if you're the Raiders. Like, you don't have a real quarterback, right? Let's be honest. I love Gardner Minshew, but you don't have a true quarterback out there. You've got a locker room problem with Davante Adams at this point. He's making business decisions, and they're making business decisions back by sitting him. If you're looking at Max Crosby, he's like 28 years old, 29 years old. You're going to hold on to him. You're not going to trade him. Like, by the time you get that quarterback, develop him and develop the team around him, Crosby's going to be 31, 32, and he's not going to be as effective. And so if you're the Raiders here, you could kind of rebuild the way the Lions did and acquire a bunch of first-round picks and use them to get what you want to get. Right? And now it doesn't matter if you're picking 10th in the draft because you could parlay that Lions first-round pick, that Jets first-round pick into moving up into, into the 2 or the 3 and getting the guy that you want. And does it hurt to lose those types of guys? Absolutely. But it also hurts being the Jets and the Giants every year and winning too many games to allow you to get the quarterback that you want to get, having some really good player, a bunch of guys that probably shouldn't be on an NFL roster, right? And then you're in like NFL purgatory.
That's difficult though, dude, because I've seen it time and time again. Like if you trade a guy like that and then you use those picks to go get the quarterback and then the quarterback now fails, now it looks even worse than if you just picked. I mean, there's enough quarterbacks that come out every year where like I'm like comfortable sitting at 5 or 6 and making the pick because you know what? Michael Penix might be the best quarterback in this draft. Jaden Daniels probably is the best quarterback in this draft, and neither of them were Caleb Williams. Jaden Daniels, if it wasn't for Adam Peters being one of the best GMs in football, I don't know if Jaden Daniels goes number 2. It might have been Drake May. So Jaden Daniels, it all depends on just picking the right player, and the one position you can't scout is quarterbacks.
I also think though too that the Bears were like there was not a long list of teams that thought Caleb Williams was the number 1 quarterback or the number 1 player in this draft. There really wasn't. As time went on, as the season progressed, the college football season, people were starting to look at Jaden Daniels. They were starting to look at Drake May, and they were kind of starting to say like, okay, we get it. Like Caleb is the guy, but like, is he really going to transition well to the NFL? And there were a lot of people questioning him. A lot of people. So the Bears were like, I'm not going to say they were alone on that. There were definitely other teams that really wanted Caleb Williams and whatever. But, I don't think it's as clear cut today as it was years ago. Like you remember the RG3 Andrew Luck draft, right? Where like, you knew, we had a good idea that Andrew Luck. We had a pretty good idea that the Redskins at the time were going to get RG3, but like you knew those guys were 1 and 2. And then it was everybody else. And it was kind of true to that, right? What was
the best quarterback that came out of that 2012 draft? The best quarterback that came out of that draft ended up being Russell Wilson. I mean, obviously, both of their careers, both the RG3s and Andrew Luck's careers were shortened due to injury. But, you look at it, who's the most accomplished quarterback of those 3? Russell Wilson went in the 4th round.
But he went in the 4th round because he wasn't tall.
Right.
Exactly.
But,
so, even though there was a clear-cut 1 and 2, the best quarterback wasn't one of them, you know what I mean?
But no matter what, the Raiders are sitting in purgatory. Like you're sitting in purgatory.
No, I agree with you 100%.
You don't really have a line. You've got this new stadium. You don't really have a great. I think they've got a really good head coach in training. Like I don't think Antonio Pierce. I don't think he right now, but I think you've got to be with. I think another year or 2 from now, I think we're talking about a different coach.
I don't think he sees next season. I think this whole Davante Adams is going to blow up, and the situation is going to blow up in his face. I mean, the reports of him liking a tweet saying that Davante Adams is gone or he wants him out of the locker room or something along those lines. To that effect, players aren't going to respond poorly, well to that, and then he's going to be gone.
But the players don't want Davante Adams there either.
Like, yeah, but they don't want.
He does.
They don't want their. No, but they also don't want their coach talking about one of the players. You know what I mean, like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is why coaches shouldn't have social media.
Well, the issue is that Davante Adams should have requested a trade before the season started.
Yeah.
He's not – Antonio Pierce isn't at fault. I think this guy, that what he's doing is just, as a head coach, you got to keep the team together, and if you don't want to be here, you got to go. Bye. See you. I don't care. GM's the guy that's screwing over the GM wants too much for Davante, which the Jets should just give him because the Jets need the guy. Oh, my God, dude.
Just get sacked.
Jets are so
a lot of good games on the slate today.
A lot of good games.
A lot of good games.
Bengals, Ravens.
Yeah, that's in Cincinnati. One game I'm looking at, Panthers, Bears. If you're a gambling man or woman, or they, them, whatever you identify as, I don't give a fuck. Panthers money line is money. They're plus 170 here. The Bears are -4. I think that's too many points. I don't like the over/under because I don't know how much the Bears are going to score today, but I think I like the Red Rifle in this game. Did they play a game? Was last week their first win, or it was 2 weeks ago?
The Panthers 2 weeks ago against
So they lost last
the
week.
Jaguars.
Okay, they lost. Panthers lost.
They lost to the Bengals.
Yeah.
I think I like them today against the Bears. I think they're going to throw up a lot of points. They threw up 24 against the Bengals last week. I think the Bears probably have a better defense than the Bengals, but I think Caleb Williams is a lot more likely to make mistakes than Joe Burrow is.
One game I'm looking forward to, and if I'm not mistaken, it's in the early slate. It's the Commanders Browns game.
Yeah, I wrote that.
I think that's going to be a fun. I think it's going to be a fun game because the Commanders have an awful defense, and I think say what you will about Deshaun Watson and the Browns offense. I mean, he should be able to tear them apart. Amari Cooper's going to go wild on them, and that will bring me back.
So you have the Browns here?
I don't necessarily have the Browns. I have the over. And I want to see how Jaden Daniels responds to probably the hardest task he's faced in terms of playing an opposite defense, opposing defense.
Do we know if Deshaun got a massage today or not?
I don't know. But what I like in that game, if you're a gambling man, laddering Amari Cooper today. His over under, I think I got him at 49.5. It might have went up a little bit to 55.5. But starting there and then increasing in increments, going up to like 65, 80, 95, 100 plus receiving yards, and lowering your bet amount in each increment, and you can cash big on what could be a big day for Amari Cooper.
He's ready for one. He always does it too. He's like Derrick Henry. He's inevitable.
He did it against the Giants. He should have did it last week with an 80-yard touchdown that got taken back on a phantom call, and I'm pretty sure he dropped another 30-yard pass. So I mean, he's getting an insane amount of targets, and he's also dropped the most passes in the NFL this year at eight drop passes. And it's a receiver that's as talented as Amari Cooper isn't going to continually do that. He's going to take advantage of these targets, and he's going to have a big game. And I'm going to guess that's going to be against the Commanders. I'm going to bet it, actually.
Bills Texans should be a good game too.
Should be a fun one.
7.5. The Bills are going to Houston today. I mean, Houston's been a team that's really been up and down. That offense has not had a good chance to really get going. We have not seen what we saw last year out of them. So I'll be I don't even know how much I'm going to be tuned into these games because the Mets are playing at 4. Also, big congratulations to both New York baseball teams. Mets and Yankees got a win in game 1 of the division series. So that's really big for the city.
Yeah.
Very exciting stuff. I have another game here. Colts, Jacksonville. They're playing this game in Jacksonville. Jags are surprisingly -3.5 favorites. Like that. That surprised me a little. I thought that would have been closer.
You got Flacco and you got a backup running back. And the Jaguars, look, they suck, but they're also not bad.
They're not what their record says they are.
No.
I don't agree
I think Trevor Lawrence goes bananas today.
You think so?
I mean, against a defense as bad as the Colts, I think they rank last in rushing defense, and I think they rank second to last in terms of passing defense. So
that's another thing. Like Facino, I know your feelings on Trevor Lawrence, and I get it. But my only question, like, if you take feelings out of it, end of this season, let's say Jacksonville does not have the season that you want them to have, and they miss the playoffs, and they're a 6-win team. You're probably assuming Doug Peterson's gone.
Yeah.
What is the future of Trevor Lawrence? Like, I mean, I guess that's more of a question for the next head coach.
Yeah, the future is you got to look.
I'm not throwing Lawrence under the bus. I'm just asking as a,
they fucked him so badly, and it's fixable because he's Trevor Lawrence. He's fine. But when you never give the guy an offensive line and then pretend like you're good, then it becomes your own fault for ruining a quarterback, and you have to get fired because of it. The GM needs to go. They did nothing to the O-line. For the last 2 years, the reason that the Jaguars are successful is because they're over and over and over again, they're throwing the quick out route, the quick tight end pop pass. And when that happens consistently, your quarterback's timing is, you're not giving him enough time in the pocket to understand how the routes are developing and giving himself the confidence to know that he can sit there and not get hit. But think about it. For the last 3.5 years, he has had a bottom tier line ranked 25 or below every year. Last year it was 32. This year it's 30. And what are you doing? You're giving the guy no chance. Now he's got some time, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't think he has time. Mentally, he's just not there. So they need to really fix the line, and then they need to get rid of the coaching staff.
Not to cut in, but Sauce Gardner just walked off the field, kind of ran into his own defender on a pass that went to Jordan Addison, and still got his helmet on, but probably concussion protocol. Yeah.
Oh, wait, no.
He's heading to the blue tent.
Yep.
So, I like the Jets sideline hat this year.
I like nothing about this team.
That's how I feel about the Giants.
Joke, dude. Well, the Giants, dude, it's way worse. The Giants are supposed to suck. The Giants.
No, I know.
This team's if they don't win, they're over leveraged.
Yeah, we should want to get Jalen Milroe or Cam Ward.
I don't know. I don't think the Giants are supposed to look this bad. That's the difference. Like, I think it's one thing to have had low expectations for the Giants, but they've looked bad everywhere. Outside, the defense has shown some nice. The defense has shown some moments. But I think what exhausts the defense is that they're on the field the entire game, like what the Jets are doing today. The Jets defense is on the field the whole game. It's very hard to win games when your defense is out there more than your offense.
Yeah.
It's more exhausting to play defense. You're on offense, you can control the pace of the game.
Yeah. My big thing with the Giants is, I know you like Brian Daboll a lot, Matt. I like him, but my problem is they're catering this offense too much to Daniel Jones. I know you gotta play with your strengths and you gotta cater it to your quarterback to a certain extent, but he's playing not to lose games. He's playing not to lose his job. He doesn't want Daniel Jones. He doesn't want to get blown out of the water in these games.
I agree.
And that's because he's not opening up the playbook fully. At a certain point, if you want to keep your job here, because I think he's going to be fired pretty much regardless, but I think if you want to keep your job here, get another head coaching job somewhere, you need to show that the problem is 100% Daniel Jones. And the only way you're going to do that is by opening up the playbook and making sure that everyone in the world sees that he's the one that can make the throws and that Daboll can scheme plays that get your receivers open by miles.
I'll be honest with you.
Throw him under the bus.
If he wants to keep his job, I think he's got to bench him and start playing Tommy DeVito.
Well,
and I know that sounds crazy, and I know that Daniel Jones is definitely more talented than Tommy DeVito. Yeah. But this Giants offense plays differently when Tommy DeVito's under center. You cannot tell me differently. It's like watching Texas play with Quinn Ewers and then Arch Manning. Yeah. It's two different feelings. I mean, if you've ever played football, you know that it makes a big difference. If you genuinely like the guy under center, or you're excited to be around that guy that's under center, you're going to play differently for him. And I get the feeling that that's what Tommy DeVito gave the Giants last year. He gave them, and I know people would say they shouldn't have won those games. That's fine, but right now, Bull's got to save his job. He's got to save this team. He's got to show some level of competency. You either do that, you open up the playbook, like you said, Zach, and you literally make Daniel Jones fall on his face, or I think you're just honest with yourself and you say this Daniel Jones experience is over. Let's bench him so he doesn't get hurt and we could cut him and not pay him next year. And let's play the quarterback that gives us the best chance of winning. And that's right now, I firmly believe that's Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, I think it's Drew Lock personally. I think he's got the bigger arm, and I think he needs someone that can throw the deep ball. But I think the best chance in the Giants winning is making sure Daniel Jones is not starting.
How many times do you throw a deep ball in an NFL game? Maybe once, maybe twice. You don't really do it.
Deep ball is 20-plus yards. Deep ball is considered 20-plus yards downfield. Dan Jones can't throw the fucking ball 20-plus yards downfield.
20-plus yards is like an intermediate pass. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's
Tommy DeVito can throw 20 yards down the field.
I think Drew Lock's your best chance of winning, but that's neither here nor there. I think your best chance of winning is not Daniel Jones.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But on that note, I think the Giants might backdoor themselves into covering today.
Who's their
they're +7. They're
+7 against the Seahawks. So this year, any team that's opened up at 6.5 or more has is 14-2 against the spread this year. So both the Giants and the Cardinals are both at that number, +7 for the Giants, +7.5 for the Cardinals against the Niners. I think you can see them both backdoor themselves into into covering here today.
I might be inclined to take the over in this game.
And the Giants,
Seahawks.
Yeah, I got the over of the Commanders-Browns game, 43.5. Not the biggest over. I think the Browns will put up points.
This is even lower. This is 42.5.
Oh, wow.
This game. Seattle's not a bad team.
No,
Seattle's not a bad team. They came out on Monday night and they played. The Lions just outscored them. They outpaced them like that. Like they got into a track meet with Detroit and they lost. But
they just don't have a front seven.
Yeah. No, they were kind of bringing some pressure. I think what hurt them was
in the run, they're getting again.
Leonard Williams was out for that game.
Yeah, he's out again.
Playing. Okay. I mean, listen. The last time Giants went out to Seattle, they won, and you know who their quarterback was that day?
Who? Seattle's?
No, Giants.
When?
No.
4 years ago?
I believe so.
Tyrod?
No.
Geno Smith?
No.
No.
Texas University of Texas star.
Oh, freaking Mick, what's his name?
Colt McCoy.
Yeah.
Colt McCoy came in and won a game for the Giants.
Unbelievable,
the last time they were there.
That's hilarious.
Well, they went 10-3.
I don't remember what the score was. I think they put up like 20 points that game. But
Stevie Mack just put in the chat. Pete Schrager just said he heard Adams will be moved within the next 48 hours. So maybe Joe Douglas is already on the phone.
I hope so for this Jets team, man. I really hope so. That would give them such a boost. And like I said, maybe that means they trade Max Crosby.
Is Garrett Wilson not in this game anymore? I have not seen his number. I haven't seen him since the first half. Oh, no, I see him there. Never mind.
Are you both able? I have to use the little boys' room. I think the hash browns went right through me this morning.
Yeah, it started to rain. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Are you guys able to hold this for a little bit?
Yeah.
It's the Jets got to go 97 yards.
Jesus, 2nd and 9.
But you know what it is? It's the fact that they can't run. So if you can't run the ball, how are you supposed to get out of your own territory to start the drive? Now you got to throw and hope there's no holding.
Yeah.
Actually, all right, first down.
That was a good pass. Good.
That first down, they're gonna mark them short because it's the Jets.
It says 1st and 10 on the broadcast. So.
That
was a good pass. I mean, it seems like every time you hand the ball to Breece Hall, the defenders are in his lap, and he doesn't have time to get outside, get ahead of steam going. And he's someone that if he can get moving, I mean, he's got the speed to rip one off. And I'm not sure where Facino went just now. But yeah, the Jets are just an interesting team. I think it stems from just being poorly coached. I think you're having some inconsistent play from both Aaron Rodgers and the skill players. They're just not they haven't had the connection, at least in terms of your what's supposed to be your superstar wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. And he's just not making adjustments and not making strides to take that next step like you would hope. And Breece Hall, I mean, he's conceding touches to Braylon Allen here, which you're like, you never wanted to hear that, because I think Braylon Allen's a good running back. I think he might have been the best one coming out of this draft, funny enough. But I think when you're conceding touches to Braylon Allen, it's because you're underperforming, and he has. And when this is supposed to be basically the heart and soul of your offense, you're hoping that he's going to be, the focal point really, and just kind of help carry you guys. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is going to shoulder some of that, but at his age, you don't want him to have to take on the full burden of carrying an offense like this. So you need to figure out a way to spring him, and you got to work on in practice this Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers connection, and just work on Garrett Wilson tightening up his routes, being able to read the defenses and making adjustments while the ball's in the air. I don't really know what else to talk about. I've never had a show go by myself, so if anyone's there, what's up? Thanks for watching. I don't know where Facino went. I think he lagged out or something. But let's see. What other games do we have today? Let's try to break something else down. Facino's laptop died, so going solo until Matt's out of the restroom. Let's see. What other games do we have today in the early slate? I know I like Bengals Ravens. It's gonna be a fun game. I think it'll be a pretty high scoring game. But yeah, I like the Browns and Commanders game though. So I know I talked about it before, but I'm really excited to see I guess not so excited as a Giants fan, but excited enough to see what Jayden Daniels can do against a good defense. A good Browns defense. A little bit banged up. Myles Garrett's banged up. I don't know if he's playing. I know he was starting to play through his injuries. I wonder if he still is. Look that up. Yeah. So he is still good to go. And then we'll see how much if this Commanders run game can open things up downfield for Terry McLaurin. I think you worry about the defenders of the Browns just getting home, getting on Jayden Daniels, stopping that run game between Brian Robinson and whatever Austin Ekeler does give you, and stopping Jayden Daniels from really getting out of the pocket and being able to make some plays with his legs. And that's really helped him and open up things downfield. And it's helped him. It's helped his arm has looked better and better every game after game. And what's up? Laptop's back?
My laptop died, and then it wouldn't bring me. I couldn't get back up because Matt was gone.
Every Sunday.
Dude, it's ridiculous, dude. I have to just keep the charger in.
Yeah.
It doesn't let me know. It just doesn't even let me know that it's dying.
Yeah, I agree, Stevie Mac. The Browns need to just tank it the rest of the season. They have nothing going on.
Back in. So Rodgers blew out his knee while you're on their monologue, and I'm like freaking out. And now he's
shit. The game froze.
They gave him some sort of fucking shot. They gave him like an EpiPen or something, getting the fucking adrenaline going.
That's crazy.
I don't think an EpiPen is for adrenaline. I think that's like anaphylactic shock.
No, there's I'm pretty sure that it's what's it called?
Painkillers.
EpiPen's actually. You know what an EpiPen is? It's actually epinephrine.
Yeah.
It gets your adrenaline pumping. That's how people are. I think it's just like a stole to get to the hospital. EpiPen just gives you like a shot, like it's like cocaine.
You know what this reminds me of too, with fully embrace the suckfest, tank the season, all that shit. I think the NFL needs, and they've doing it, but like they never committed.
Come on, Breece Hall, just run for a touchdown. Damn it!
You've got to have like the first 15 picks, or like the first 12 picks in a lottery system, where like genuinely does not matter if you're worse in the league or you're like, or at least
just
the top 10 picks. Yeah, like honestly, because I totally understand how tanking helps. Like you get the player you want. I understand that, but I think that makes that just makes for bad. It just doesn't make for good football. It's like being in a fantasy league and like two guys aren't checking anymore, and they're an automatic win. You know what I mean? Like you had to play them week 1 when they were checking, and now week 7 they're not checking. Like that's not fair. So that's kind of
maybe the worst team from each division, something like that.
Whatever you do, like I hate it, and I understand tanking. I hate to see it. I think it sucks, and I don't think the NBA and the NHL have like totally figured it out.
No, they haven't.
But I think it's better than what we have. I think it's better than like the worst teams getting to pick where they pick.
No, I think it is to a certain extent too, because it's good when it's not your team getting screwed by it. Like when you're getting screwed by it, you're obviously all pissed off. You had the worst record and you still don't get a decent pick. Like you could be in the NHL, the NBA, you could have one of the worst records and somehow still be in the latter half of the top
but
10.
Then that just incentivizes teams every year to win. Like win every year, because there's no guarantee you being the worst is going to get you the next the next Peyton Manning.
Yeah. What Stevie Mack said, the UFL has a rule where the bottom 2 teams play a game and whoever wins gets the number 1 pick. I think actually that could translate well in terms of the bottom 2 teams from each division get entered into a lottery, for first pick. And then obviously there'll be some more percentages of, I guess, the lotto balls based on how many wins the team has. But I think that could help. I think just for a better product.
Of putting together a meaningless game.
No, it's not a game. It would just be the bottom 2 each division get entered to the lotto, and then obviously based on your record, you get more or less balls. They need to figure out something, because the product, while a good half of the games are good, there's a good half of the games that are just not worth watching. Like that Miami Titans game was fucking dreadful on Monday. I mean, today you got the Dolphins and the Patriots. It's gonna be a terrible fucking game. It's gonna be a terrible game.
Hopefully.
Right. I mean, Broncos Raiders. I think that could be sneaky good. But
how depressing is that? Like November, when your team is just out of it, and there's there's just nothing. There's nothing, because they have to lose, right? Because you want them to get the better pick, and you have nothing to root for. Like if they win, it hurts you, and it's like at least you're whatever, you're a 6-win team or something. But okay, this guy looks good, and we're one of the 12 worst teams, so we've got we've got as much a shot as that team with 2 wins for getting the quarterback or the offensive lineman that we want, because the NFL draft is definitely a great TV product. Like you have a lot of people that just say they hate it. I love it. I know Pacino. I know you're like me. You love the fucking draft.
It's the best draft in all sports.
It is.
Nothing compares.
I just think that would make it, and I don't think you should do it like the NBA. Like I think the minute that the season's over, do your lottery so you know who's going where.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the NBA waits, and it's right. It's like what, a week or 2 before the draft or something for the NBA. Let's see, what can the Jets do? Play action shot here on 2nd and medium.
All right.
Play action to Braylon Allen. Nice.
Just need a touchdown. The problem is that you got 4th and 2, and you need some momentum, and they just don't kick a field goal earlier in the game.
No. I don't know. Do they tend to run the ball in 2nd and long a lot, the Jets? I think as a team that's kind of had struggles just running the ball in general, you need to figure out ways.
I wouldn't run again, dude. I'd never run the ball again. It's like a joke the way that they run the ball. It's like 1st and 10. All right, I formation, run. Duh.
They need to scheme up some more plays to get Breece Hall going to the outside. They need him going up the gut. Yeah, he can run up the gut, and every running back should be able to do that. But you need to get him on the outside, because if he can get a little bit of separation between the defenders coming on him, and he could just take off.
Dude, they haven't run an angle route for Breece Hall all year. It's like, jeez. Do that.
Thank God you have Braylon Allen. I mean, he might have been the best running back in the draft.
Yeah, but you could run Braylon Allen and put him in and put Breece Hall next to him, put Breece Hall out,
Yeah, I don't know why more teams don't do that. Put your 2 running backs on the field at the same time.
Like the Lions do with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
They don't do it. They kind of started doing that, but they don't really do that enough.
They did a lot last year.
I would love to see that almost every play, because if you're a defense and you've got Montgomery and Gibbs in the backfield, Jameson Williams on one side, and Laporta and St. Brown. Who are you doubling? You're not doubling anybody, because you can't.
And David Montgomery can catch balls too, and that's the thing. That's the scary part about it. It's not like he's got bricks for hands. He can catch the ball, so it's like you just don't know where.
Spoon in the dirt last week.
Yeah, fucking stiff arm from hell.
All right. Do we have anything else here?
I'm praying that this fucking can be converted on 3rd down here.
I'm hoping we get a Garrett Wilson touchdown.
Okay. They're on the 20.
Bets. Oh, that was almost a hospital ball.
Are you streaming this game, Pacino?
Yeah, I'm fucking way behind, dude.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm streaming it too. I'm behind as well.
All right, boys. Good show. I got to figure out what's going on with this Mets game later. So.
Anything about a watch party?
I'm trying to figure that out. Let's talk about that off.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We had a great audience. This was awesome. So thank you, and we will see you hopefully Thursday.
Thanks, everyone.